Have you ever stood at the bottom of a staircase, looked up at those steps, and felt a heavy knot of dread in your stomach because you knew exactly what was coming? It's that sharp, grinding sensation in your knees that seems to scream with every single movement. Or maybe it is the morning stiffness that makes getting out of bed feel like a monumental task, where you have to mentally prepare yourself just to put your feet on the floor. It is exhausting, isn't it? Not just the physical pain, but the mental toll of feeling like your own body is betraying you, slowly shrinking your world until you are afraid to go for a walk, afraid to play with your grandkids, or afraid to simply travel because you don't know if your knees can take it. You might have been told that this is just a normal part of aging. You might have been told that your cartilage is wearing away like the tread on an old tire, and that once it is gone forever. But what if I told you that wasn't the whole story? What if the very building blocks your body needs to repair that wear and tear have been missing from your modern diet, and by simply adding them back in, you could turn back the clock on your joint health? It sounds almost too simple to be true, but sometimes the most powerful remedies are the ones nature provided us with all along, the ones we have simply forgotten. In this conversation today, we are going to talk about a powerhouse ingredient that you probably have sitting in your pantry right now, or at least you have walked past it in the grocery store 1,000 times without realizing its potential. We are talking about gelatin. But no, not the sugary, bright red dessert you might remember from school cafeterias. We are talking about gelatin as a medicinal superfood, the kind that our ancestors consumed daily and the kind that science is finally catching up to. We are going to dive deep into the 3 specific reasons why gelatin is arguably the best natural remedy for knee pain, and we will look at how it can rebuild your structure, put out the fire of inflammation, and bring the lubrication back to your stiff joints. By the end of this, you will have a clear blueprint on how to use it to regain your strength and your freedom. Before we really get into the science of this, if you care about staying healthy, independent, and keeping your body moving smoothly well into your golden years, consider subscribing to our channel. We share the kind of deep, research-backed senior health tips that often get lost in the noise of quick-fix medicine. And I am genuinely curious, are you watching this from the United States, the UK, Australia, or maybe somewhere else entirely? Drop a comment below and let me know where you are from. I love seeing how far our community of health-conscious seniors reaches. Now, let's get into the first and perhaps the most critical reason why gelatin is a miracle worker for your knees. It all comes down to the architecture of your body. Reason number 1 is that gelatin provides the exact biological blueprint to rebuild your cartilage. You see, we often think of our bones and joints as solid, static things, like dry cement. But your joints are actually alive. They are constantly in a state of turnover. Your body is always trying to repair itself. The problem is that as we age, the breakdown process starts to outpace the building process. To understand why gelatin is the answer, you have to understand what cartilage is made of. It is largely made of a protein called collagen. In fact, collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. It is the glue that holds you together. When you cook collagen, like when you simmer chicken bones or beef bones for hours to make a broth, that collagen breaks down into gelatin. So gelatin is essentially cooked, accessible collagen. When you consume it, you are ingesting a rich profile of amino acids, specifically 2 very important ones called glycine and proline. Here is the science of it, simplified. Most proteins we eat, like chicken breast or steak, are muscle meats. They are great for your muscles, but they don't have the same amino acid profile as your connective tissue. If you want to build muscle, you eat muscle. But if you want to build joint tissue, you need to eat the materials that joints are made of. When you ingest gelatin, you are flooding your bloodstream with high concentrations of glycine and proline. These are the specific precursors required by your body to synthesize new collagen. Think of it this way. Imagine you are trying to repair a brick wall, but the delivery truck keeps bringing you wood. You can have all the wood in the world, but you cannot fix a brick wall with it. You need bricks. If you are only eating muscle meat and ignoring the connective tissues, which is what gelatin provides, you are trying to fix your cartilage without the right bricks. Gelatin delivers the bricks. When those amino acids enter your system, they accumulate in the cartilage and stimulate your cells to produce new tissue. It is like waking up a construction crew that has been asleep on the job. There was actually a fascinating study where athletes with joint pain were given collagen hydrolysate, which is very similar to gelatin, over a period of 24 weeks. The results showed a significant reduction in pain and an improvement in mobility compared to the placebo group. The researchers concluded that the supplement didn't just mask the pain, it actually helped support the structural integrity of the joint. But here is where it gets even more interesting for you. Cartilage has a terrible blood supply. That is why it heals so slowly compared to, say, a cut on your finger. It doesn't get a direct delivery of nutrients from blood vessels. Instead, it gets its nutrients from the synovial fluid, the thick liquid inside your joint capsule. When you move your knee, you squash the cartilage like a sponge, pushing old fluid out, and when you release, it soaks new, nutrient-rich fluid in. If that fluid is full of the building blocks from gelatin, every step you take is literally pumping repair material directly into the damaged areas. So, the takeaway here isn't just to eat gelatin, but to understand that by doing so, you are actively restocking your body's supply of repair materials. You are giving your knees a fighting chance to rebuild what time has taken away. And this isn't just about masking symptoms, it is about structural restoration. Now, while rebuilding the structure is vital, there is another enemy that causes most of the immediate pain you feel. That brings us to our second major reason. Gelatin is a potent, natural, anti-inflammatory agent. You know that feeling when your knee is swollen, warm to the touch, or just has that deep, throbbing ache that keeps you up at night? That is inflammation. Inflammation is your body's immune response to damage. Acute inflammation is good. It helps heal a cut. But chronic inflammation, the kind that settles in your joints and never leaves, is destructive. It is like a fire that is slowly burning down the house. Conventional medicine usually treats this with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, like ibuprofen or aspirin, and while those can help temporarily, they come with a laundry list of side effects for seniors, including stomach ulcers, kidney stress, and even increased heart risk. This is where gelatin shines as a safer, natural alternative. Remember that amino acid I mentioned earlier, glycine. Gelatin is roughly 1/3 glycine. This is an incredibly high amount compared to almost any other food. Glycine acts as an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which means it has a calming effect on the nervous system, but it also works directly on the immune system to lower inflammatory markers. When you consume gelatin regularly, the glycine helps to downregulate the production of inflammatory cytokines. These cytokines are the chemical messengers that tell your body to create swelling and pain. By lowering them, glycine effectively turns down the volume on that pain signal. It creates a systemic anti-inflammatory effect that soothes not just your knees, but your entire body. There is another layer to this anti-inflammatory power that is often overlooked, and that is the gut connection. You might have heard the saying that all disease begins in the gut. Well, a lot of joint pain is actually exacerbated by a condition called leaky gut. As we age, the lining of our intestines can become more permeable, allowing toxins and undigested food particles to leak into the bloodstream. Your immune system sees these invaders and goes on high alert, creating system-wide inflammation that often settles in the weakest points, your joints. Gelatin is famous for its ability to heal the gut lining. Because it is a hydrophilic colloid, which is a fancy way of saying it attracts and holds liquids, it helps coat the digestive tract and provides the fuel for the cells of the gut lining to repair themselves. By sealing the gut, you stop those toxins from entering your bloodstream. You turn off the source of the alarm. Many people are shocked to find that when they start treating their gut with gelatin, their knee pain mysteriously vanishes. It is because they have stopped the systemic inflammation at the source. Imagine your body as a house and the fire alarm is blaring because there is smoke coming from the kitchen. You can put on earplugs, that is the painkiller. Or you can go into the kitchen and put out the fire, that is gelatin. It calms the system down. And speaking of calming down, there is a wonderful side benefit to the glycine in gelatin that helps your pain indirectly. Glycine improves sleep quality. We all know that poor sleep makes pain feel worse, and pain makes sleep impossible. It is a vicious cycle. But because glycine lowers your core body temperature slightly and calms the brain, taking gelatin before bed can help you fall asleep faster and reach deeper states of restorative sleep. And guess when your body does the majority of its healing and tissue repair? That is right, during deep sleep. So by helping you sleep, gelatin is giving your body the time and the state it needs to fix your knees. I want to pause here for just a second. If you are finding these insights helpful, or if you are just surprised by how much science is packed into simple gelatin, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps spread the word to other seniors who might be struggling with pain and thinking there is no hope. And if you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed because we have so much more to cover on this list. Now let's move on to the third reason, which is all about movement and lubrication. We have talked about the bricks to build the wall, and we have talked about putting out the fire. Now we need to talk about oiling the hinge. Reason number 3 is that gelatin promotes the hydration and lubrication of the joint. One of the main reasons our joints get stiff and creaky as we get older is that they literally dry out. The synovial fluid I mentioned earlier, that magical oil inside your knee capsule, can decrease in quality and quantity. When that fluid thins out, you lose the shock absorption. Bone starts to rub closer to bone. That is that grinding, sandpaper sensation you might feel when you bend your knees. Gelatin helps reverse this drying process in a very clever way. It contains compounds called glycosaminoglycans. I know, that is a mouthful, so let's just call them GAGs. These GAGs are essential for maintaining the viscosity and volume of that joint fluid. But even more importantly, the amino acids in gelatin effectively stimulate the body to produce hyaluronic acid. You might have heard of hyaluronic acid in skin creams because it is famous for holding onto moisture. Well, it does the exact same thing inside your knees. Hyaluronic acid is the master lubricant. It creates a thick, gel-like cushion that coats the cartilage surfaces. When you have enough of it, your surfaces glide over each other friction-free. When you don't, they grate. By consuming gelatin, you are providing the raw materials your body needs to synthesize this lubricant. Think of a dry, brittle sponge sitting on your kitchen counter. If you try to bend it, it might crack. It is stiff. Now, imagine pouring water onto that sponge. It becomes soft, flexible, and pliable. You can bend it any way you want without it breaking. That is essentially what gelatin helps do to your connective tissues. It increases the water-holding capacity of the cartilage itself. Healthy cartilage is roughly 70 to 80% water. If it loses that hydration, it becomes brittle and prone to cracking. Gelatin helps lock that moisture in, keeping the tissue resilient so it can absorb the shock of your steps without transferring that impact to the bone. This is why many people who start a regimen of gelatin or high-quality collagen report that they feel less creaky, that popping sound you hear when you stand up. That is often gas escaping from the joint fluid or tendons snapping over bone because things are too tight and dry. As you rehydrate those tissues from the inside out, things start to glide again. You might notice that after a few weeks you can squat down to pick something up and stand back up without that audible click or that wince of pain. So we have the structure, the anti-inflammatory effect, and the lubrication. But I know what you are thinking right now. You are thinking, okay, I am convinced. But how do I actually take this? Do I just eat a bowl of sugary dessert jelly every day? Please do not do that. That is the most common mistake people make. The commercial-flavored gelatin boxes you see in the dessert aisle are loaded with sugar, artificial dyes, and artificial flavors. Sugar is highly inflammatory. If you eat those, you are basically taking one step forward with the gelatin and 2 steps back with the sugar. You will likely make your pain worse. To get the benefits we have discussed, you need to look for high-quality, unflavored beef gelatin or hydrolyzed collagen peptides. There is a slight difference. Gelatin is the kind that gels up when it is cold, like in Jell-O or broth. Collagen peptides are processed a bit more so they don't gel. They dissolve in cold or hot water. Both have the same amino acid profile, so both work. For seniors, I often recommend collagen peptides because they are so easy to use. You can stir a scoop into your morning coffee, your tea, your oatmeal, or even a glass of water, and you won't taste it at all. It is the easiest habit to build, but if you enjoy cooking, using real gelatin to make homemade fruit gummies with real fruit juice, or simply drinking a cup of warm, homemade bone broth every day is fantastic. Bone broth is the original source of gelatin, and it comes with minerals like calcium and magnesium that are also great for your bones. And here is a pro tip that can double the effectiveness of the gelatin you take. Always try to consume it with a little bit of vitamin C. Vitamin C is a cofactor for collagen synthesis. Basically, your body cannot turn that gelatin into new cartilage without vitamin C present. It is the worker that operates the machinery. So if you are having your collagen in a smoothie, throw in some berries or a squeeze of lemon. If you are having it in water, take a small vitamin C supplement or eat an orange. It is a small tweak, but it makes a massive difference in how much your body actually absorbs and utilizes. It might feel a bit unsettling to learn all this, to realize that maybe for years you have been suffering simply because your diet was missing these key components. But remember, knowledge is power. Now that you know, you can make simple changes to protect your health. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't need to start running marathons tomorrow. Even just adding 1 scoop of this powder to your morning routine can start the process of healing. Imagine what it would feel like to wake up 3 months from now. You swing your legs out of bed and nothing. No sharp catch, no stiffness. You walk to the kitchen to make coffee and you realize you didn't have to hold onto the wall. Imagine walking up the porch steps easily again to greet your family. That is the difference these small tweaks can make over time. It is not magic, it is biology. It is giving your body the respect and the fuel it demands. So, to recap what we have learned today, you want to avoid the high-sugar commercial desserts that sap your health and instead embrace high-quality gelatin or collagen that acts as the building blocks for your cartilage. You are using it to rebuild the structure, to calm the inflammation with glycine, and to lubricate those dry joints so you can move freely again. It is all about working with your body's natural healing ability, not against it. Remember, your body is always trying to heal and strengthen itself. It is on your side. All we have to do is give it the right fuel and care. Growing older might be inevitable. We cannot stop the calendar from turning, but growing weaker doesn't have to be. With the right habits, you can stay strong, mobile, and independent. I know getting older is hard. The aches, the fear of losing mobility, the worry that you are becoming a burden. It can be scary and discouraging. But you are not alone in this, and it is absolutely not too late to turn things around. Every small step you take, every better food choice you make, every good habit you build, is strengthening your legs and your future freedom. One meal, one step at a time, you are taking charge of your health. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these benefits surprised you the most? Did you know that gelatin could help you sleep, or that it heals the gut? Do you have any personal experiences with bone broth or collagen? Share your story or any questions in the comments below. I read every single one, and we all learn from each other's experiences in this community. And if you are sitting there thinking, I am ready to try this, let me know. What is one change you are going to make after watching this? Let us know in the comments. Your plan might inspire someone else here who is on the fence. If this video helped you or opened your eyes even a little, please hit the like button. It means a lot to me, and it helps the algorithm show this to other people who are in pain and need answers. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on important health insights that could improve your life. We have plenty more science-backed tips for thriving in your golden years coming up soon. If you are still with me and you are determined to stay strong, type a 1 in the comments to affirm it. I want to see how many fighters we have in the audience today. Stay strong, stay healthy, and remember, your independence is carried by your legs. Treat them well, and they will carry you far. Keep taking those small steps for your health. They add up to giant strides in your freedom.